The Digital Monster Color gave Digimon fans basically everything that they've wanted from the franchise in a long time, that being a color-screened virtual pet. While we have had the Vital Bracelet for a while, and that is in color, it wasn't quite scratching the itch for some that a virtual pet would. And then we finally got news of the Digimon Color. So the Digimon Color has so far been released in version 1 and version 2, meaning the Agumon roster with Betamon as the bad care child, and version 2 being Gabumon with Elecmon as the bad care child. It more or less is just a slightly improved version of the original, but let's go over the good, the bad, and the miscellaneous of this new old virtual pet. First up, it should mostly go without saying that this has a great nostalgic feel to it. I recently was playing Next Order since it was ported to the Switch, and that is just amazing timing that the Digimon Color came out the same month that the Next Order port did, because playing Next Order really made me crave the Digimon originals. So I'm not sure if that timing was planned or not, but it definitely worked. The overall nostalgic feel of the Digimon Color is just pretty fantastic, and it really sort of ignites that same feeling that I had when I first played with my version 2 as a child. It has that lovely sort of comforting, homely, nostalgic feeling, and that basically it should give you that, but it is great that it actually does that. A feature that I didn't expect from the Digimon Color, on the other hand, were the fact that the daytime changes from the background depending on the time of day. So it goes day, and then at around 4 p.m. it changes to like a dusk, and then a nighttime background at about 7 p.m. I did not expect this, and honestly, I never realized how much I needed a day-night cycle in a virtual pet. It really makes it a lot more immersive, and it's just a feature that I just really appreciate from it. The backgrounds in general are pretty cool. You can change them, but I think I might just keep them on the standard ones, mainly because some of the backgrounds don't have a day-night cycle, and of course, these ones do. The other feature that I like is that there's also the quest mode in addition to connection battles, and each area in quest mode auto battles without any input. It's a nice change up from the Colosseum on the DM20th or DMX, for example, and the quest battles feel just like connection battles. As I mentioned, they just go through automatically, so you can just start up Area 1 and it'll go through Area 1. You can then select Area 2 and it'll go through Area 2. And it'll fight every Digimon in that area without any of your input. And that's a feature that I really appreciated. And again, these NPC battles even still feel like connection battles. So they've really kept the same kind of flow throughout the battle. You can also unlock backgrounds, which is cool, and you can get them from the built-in quest mode that I just mentioned, or by connecting to other Digimon colors. There are also built-in settings, so when you go to change a background, there's various other settings that you have control over as well. So you can, in addition to changing the background, change brightness, control the sound levels, and power it off, which is a feature that I'm honestly surprised exists, because the Tamagotchi Smart, which was the most recent Japanese Tamagotchi that's in color, doesn't actually have the ability to turn it off. You have to either make it go into debug mode by holding down the reset button and a button at the same time, or just let the battery die. The Vital Bracelet, the older one, has a switch on the back, and the BE has a power off setting, so it's really great to see that the DMC also has a power off setting. It also saves your progress when you go to power it off this way. So really appreciate that as well. And it's a great way of just like, oh, I don't feel like running the Digimon for a while. Instead of just waiting for the battery to die, I can just put it in power off mode. So that is pretty cool. There's also the fact that the training, the V1 has the V1 training, the V2 has the V2 training. So that's kind of great. I thought that they would just keep the DM20 training for some reason, but it actually carries over the original Digimon training from the version 1 on the version 1 and the version 2 on the version 2. However, both of the trainings are fixed. In that I mean they're fixed from their original counterparts. The version 1 training on the originally would let you, it would count everything as a successful training attempt. So if you cancelled out of it, that'd be a successful attempt. If you failed the training, it would be a successful attempt. The fixed version, which is similar to the version 6 original, where you have to succeed in your training and win against the copy, the clone, in order for it to register as a successful training attempt. However, there are patterns in this. The version 6, as far as I recall, is completely random. This actually has a pattern that you can work out, so that's not too bad. The version 2's training also appears to be fixed. It is slightly slower, so filling up the gauge is a little bit slower. It's easier to time it to get a successful one, except if you're like me and I'm just awful at it. I always manage to miss, but it's definitely slower than the Digimon original version 2, so I do appreciate that. However, I do have some negatives about the Digimon Color. So first of all, and this is in relation to the training, for the version 2 training in particular, I can't just cancel out of it and skip. I remember on the original version 2, you can cancel out of it once the result is shown, like if the bag is been shot through or hasn't been shot through, you can cancel it out at that moment, or you can cancel out in the result animation of just being happy or sad. You can cancel out from that. But on the DM Color, you can only cancel out of it when the gauge is going up and down, not any other time. You could on the Digimon original version 2, so that's kind of a shame. I just also like just button mashing, making everything quicker, but its version 2 is a little bit slower in terms of the training and cancelling out of it. My other negative is the fact that it's Premium Bandai in Japan, which means that it was pre-order only. So if you didn't get it on release, you're basically having to buy from a third party or a reseller at the moment, and that means that you're going to be paying a little bit more than you would have if you had pre-ordered it. So they are pre-order only, so if you pre-ordered it, great, you've got them. If you haven't, you have to buy from a reseller, and again, that's a little bit pricier. So that is a negative about the Digimon Color, it's just they're going to be harder to come by. They were scalped basically immediately, which is just a problem with Premium Bandai products. And a lot of the virtual pets for Digimon from Japan are Premium Bandai. When they get released in English, such as the DM20, for example, the DMX, while the DMX was Premium Bandai Japan only, in Japan, when their English versions came out, they were just bought in retail. So that is just something about how Bandai treats virtual pets from the Digimon franchise. And my last negative is the fact that the connectivity is only with other Digimon colors. You can't connect to DM20s, you can't connect to Digimon originals. You can only connect and battle with other Digimon colors. That's a little bit of a shame. I would have liked to maybe unlock a special colorless background or something by connecting to original Digimon. That would have been a cool little feature, but you can only connect to other DM colors, which is a shame. And they do physically connect, but there's just they're not compatible in terms of they don't battle each other, they just will tell you to retry over and over again. So they physically can connect, which is why it's a missed opportunity. They didn't program in some special background that you unlock from that. But I guess it's not too bad because I guess the programming is completely different, but it just would have been cool. And now on to my miscellaneous thoughts. And this one is another missed opportunity, but it's not as much of a negative for me as the lack of compatibility with older models. And that's the fact that the poo is not pink. It's definitely been coloured. It's definitely like a very, very dark brown, but it's not pink. And Digimon, in terms of their poo, is pink. It's always been pink in the franchise. I want to say 90% of the time, maybe even more. The poo is pink. but on the DM Color, it's not pink. It feels like just a missed opportunity there. Not enough to be a negative, but enough that it's a little bit of a shame, and it just feels kind of weird that why are we not doing the pink poo anymore? Pink poo was cool. We like pink poo. Everyone loves the pink poo. Why aren't DM Colors pooping in pink? My next miscellaneous thought is about the battery. It's cool that it's rechargeable. You don't have to carry around batteries and replace them all the time. The battery life is sort of what you'd expect. It's probably as good as the Tamagotchi Smart, which is also a rechargeable battery. However, it makes me worry about the longevity of the DM Color. So batteries do eventually degrade over time, and my concern is that in 10 years, if I want to pick up my DM Color, how long is the battery going to last for? Is it going to last for a day? Am I going to have to basically have it plugged in all the time? It's really going to start degrading with use depending on how much I use it. So that makes me concerned about how long the DM Color's battery will be usable for. And that is just something that comes with batteries that aren't just replaceable. You can't just like go to the shop and buy some AAAs or some coin batteries and just replace them. And you can get rechargeable of those batteries as well. I use rechargeable AAAs on a lot of my Tamagotchis, and I don't mind doing that because you just recharge them, and I know that the toy itself isn't going to just stop working in terms of using the batteries unless I break it, which I try not to. So that is sort of something that is a concern. It's not a concern for now, but it's a concern from later down the line, and especially for people who try to get into the franchise in 20 years. Like, we have people who are trying to get older virtual pets that weren't into the Digimon franchise back when they released. They're getting them now, and they're finding that it's a cost issue. In 20 years' time, it's not only going to be a cost issue, it's going to be are the batteries still good? At least now you can kind of say, okay, if I buy something, it might not work because if there's been battery leakage, but it's not much or as much of a concern as the rechargeable batteries just not working in 20 years or so. So that's just a concern that I have. My other miscellaneous thought is another sort of like something I feel like is a little bit of a missed opportunity or something that I would have preferred. And it's kind of annoying that there are, version 1, version 2, and then a version 3 and version 4 and version 5 will come out, and they're each quite expensive. I was kind of hoping that they went with the Tamagotchi Smart or Vital Bracelet kind of approach here and have the rosters on little smart cards in the same way that the Vital Bracelet and Smart do, and just use that as content rather than buying a whole new toy. You could just have 1 or 2. You don't need like multiple. It is nice that you can connect to various other DMCs and you can unlock special backgrounds, and that's cool, but it would have been nice if you just sort of had to buy a $20 smart card instead of something that was $3, $4, and even more if you're buying it from a reseller. It's just nicer. I'm just a big fan of the Tamagotchi Smart approach to it though. And my last miscellaneous thought is that the hearts feel like they drop faster than the Digimon original. And that's just a miscellaneous thought because it just means that I have to be more attentive to it than I would for a Digimon original. And it's just kind of, it's neither here nor there, it's just something that I thought I'd mention. So in general, what are my overall thoughts on the Digimon Color? I honestly think it's a 10 out of 10 for both enjoyment and ease of use. It is very much an improvement on the original Digimon original, and it's also different enough from the DM20, which was my concern that it would just be too similar to what we've already had. It feels pretty unique, and again, I really do love the fact that the backgrounds do change depending on the time of day. Big fan of that. The only thing that would be even better if they had weather, but they don't. And that's not even like a thought, it's just that'd be cool. So basically, if you're able to get a Digimon Color, I got mine from Zen and TCG. I'm aware that Zen and TCG have had them in stock and then out of stock pretty regularly, but I can definitely recommend going through them because they're probably still the cheapest way to get the Digimon Color. Other places have seemingly put them up for a lot more than Zen and TCG was listing them as. This isn't a sponsored video or anything, that's just my advice about it. There are places already selling them for double the price that they were originally sold for. So if you see them for about $100 USD, you're overpaying. Zen and TCG had them for, I want to say $60 US, maybe around that. So don't spend over $100 US because Zen and TCG do have them for cheaper. But again, not sponsored, just a recommendation. And that's basically all my thoughts about the Digimon Color. If you have any thoughts about it, or if you have any questions about anything that I've mentioned, let me know in the comment section below. Like this video for color changing backgrounds and poop that isn't pink apparently. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have subscribed, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your co-workers, and check out my other videos. And of course, I will see you on the next one. Bye!